Welcome back to the Lou Perez podcast. My name is Lou Perez. If you'd like to support the podcast, please head over to thelouperez.locals.com and join the Lou Perez community. If you join, you'll get to listen to the podcast early. You'll get to watch my sketch comedy early, as well as experience other exclusive content. So I hope you enjoy it. And if you're looking for another way to support me, you can do so by supporting my sponsors. So if you're into cold brew, I highly recommend Black Organic Cold Brew. Head over to www.blvckbrew.com and use promo code LOU, that's LOU, and you'll get free shipping. And if you're into CBD products, please check out Paloma Verde, www.palomaverdestore.com. And if you use the code LOU, you'll get 25% off purchases over $75. And if you sign up for email, you'll get an extra 10% off as well. All right, here we go. Has your disability given you cover? Because it seems like I follow you, and it seems like I would think some people would be a little, hesitant to come after you, but a lot of people don't seem to give a fuck.
Oh, no.
You might know him as Cripp Daddy. His name is Donavan. Donavan, thank you so much for joining me, man.
Thank you for having me, buddy. I'm happy to be here.
Where are you coming from right now? Are you in upstate New York? Is that...
Oh, no, I would probably blow my brains out.
Why did I think
I'm
that
in the Midwest. I'm a Chicago land boy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we have a mutual friend in Matt Tabor. So I think, and Matt is sort of, I think, upstate New York. So I was thinking like, oh, you must be upstate New York. I don't know why I just made that that association.
It's a very common misconception. Everybody does say that Chicago is the shithole that is New York of the Midwest.
Are you in there? So you're not in you're not Chicago proper, and you're in the suburbs.
No, I'm kind of more a little north of Chicago, north towards the Wisconsin border.
Oh, okay.
It's easier to just tell people to be like, I'm Chicago.
Yeah. I've had good times when I went to Chicago. There's such a stupid rivalry when it comes to pizza. Like the deep dish versus Well, who wins it though, in your opinion?
I mean, pizza is pizza at the end of the day. And I think if you like pizza, you like all of it. And if you are a pizza elitist, you're just kind of gay. It's not that big of a deal. It's just pizza, eat the shit and shut up.
One of the dumbest things that I took part in when BuzzFeed is BuzzFeed still around? I don't even know if it's still around, but they were making videos and just producing like a ton of videos. And one of the videos they were doing was a rivalry taste test thing, and it was a battle between New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles over hot dogs. So they brought in like 3 or 4 people to sample the hot dogs and then, go at it on which one had the best one. And the Chicago hot dog was the best one by far because you had all this amazing stuff on it. And it just made me think of just how shitty and lazy the New York fucking hot dog vendor cart guys are with their, it's just dirty dogs and dirty water.
Yeah, because isn't it like I wouldn't know, I'm speaking out of my ass, but isn't it like kind of a thing with the vendors over there where you don't know what they're fucking serving? Like a lot of the time it's just a bunch of people fronting for like drugs or some shit.
I mean, I don't know if it goes that deep. I don't know if there's like a Law and Order episode about some guy slinging crack rocks. But something my dad got me hip to. I was thinking, I was talking about, oh man, I could really go for one of those hot dogs. And then he just said, where do they go to the bathroom? And I got, and my eyes lit up, and I'm like, oh shit! If you look around, they're like on the edge of the park. There's no bathroom. Yeah. So where are these guys going to the bathroom? Where are they washing their hands? And all that. So,
see, and that's another good point. Never thought about that. And that's gonna haunt me for the rest of my days. And I think I realized what made me think that was because very recently, I have this nightly routine ever since the lockdowns and stuff where
Mhm.
I get in bed and I just get really baked until I just black out because I have nothing else to do. I have no time to wake up. So, uh, and while I'm smoking, I'm watching any recommended video that pops up in my YouTube feed.
Mhm.
And one of the videos was of this like drug bust over in like, I think it's London or some shit, where these pretend food vendors were selling drugs and like they had food with them, like to make it look real, but it was all like over expired and they were
Mm.
still cooking and like serving it to people.
Wow.
And that was funny and it's very scary.
Yeah, when I visited San Francisco once, and after a night of drinking with my then girlfriend, out on the street, they're cooking hot dogs, and they have it wrapped in bacon, and it's absolutely
Right.
delicious. But it is one of those things
Yeah.
where, wait a minute, where is this shit coming from? What's happening here?
Hmm.
When you
Yeah. Yeah.
so you were talking about getting baked. How does your body
Yeah.
respond to marijuana, like your lungs, and can you is it it
Uh,
must be good, right? It must be working for
yeah,
you.
I probably should avoid smoking as much as I do, but I mean, we all should be avoiding a lot of things,
Hmm.
right? Like, we should be eating Taco Bell 3 times a day, but here I am.
You're
And it,
you're doing that too? That's a part of your
so,
diet? Shit.
I mean, fuck it. What's the worst that's going to happen, right? I mean, God already sent me out half baked, so there's nothing else that could make it worse, in my opinion. Like, okay, cancer happens. Oh well, you know, it happens. But uh, overall, I like it. It helps me. I prefer weed over, painkillers any day. Fuck that.
What condition do you have?
I was born with a rare disease called big dig itis, and it it's been a fucking plague against my just existence from day one. Uh, right out the gate, the nurses were like, "We don't have scissors big enough to cut his foreskin," uh, and it was just a hassle.
I was
But
about to
really,
I was about to say, like, are you fully hard right now? Like
I'm hard all the time, just all the time. It's a curse. No, I was born with a spinal muscular atrophy type 2.
Okay. And well, how does that differ from like a type 1? Like, what are the specifics on that?
Type ones, they straight up, I think, if I remember right, they just flat out die. Like,
Oh, wow.
like hardly ever with someone with type one. They can live. It's just usually like Stephen Hawking quality of life, but without the big brain in discovering black holes. Uh, and type 3, which is the last one, that's usually the other way that it's like Stephen Hawking, where you can live up until your adulthood, and then one day it's like, hey, you're fucked.
Oh, wow. Do you do therapy? Do you do physical therapy, meds, or anything like that?
I did for a little while. Um, Growing up, there was like a young little kids era where the U.S. government cares about you when you're a crippled child, but the
Mm.
moment you turn 18, they they stop caring as much. So around my teenage, area of whatever, that's when they slowly started implementing like, okay, do you really need that much physical therapy? Uh, and then just ended up being none.
Wow. So, what do you when it comes to like health insurance and that sort of thing? How are you handling that?
Very carefully. It's not that I don't have any. They do care enough, but not enough to where you're living a good quality life. You're alive, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Medical bills and stuff are there. They're not as, damning, but they happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember, I don't know if it was a couple of years ago, but when I first started following you on Twitter, you were in the hospital and you were, I don't know if you had just undergone surgery or you were having your lungs pumped or something like that, but it would sound like just an insane experience that you were going through. What was that about?
I'm very susceptible to like getting sick at all the time. So this past year has been great for me, living my best life. There was a routine almost every year growing up where I was spending at least a minimum of a week in the hospital because of something like pneumonia, bronchitis, or the flu.
All pulmonary stuff, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Respiratory system's the thing that will kill me for sure.
Wow. And you posted something, I guess a few days ago, just talking about the position you're in when it comes to making money, where if you start to make over a certain amount of money, then you lose all your benefits. Like, what's that all about?
Yeah. So with, like I said, the government cares enough to give you very little to get by. So when you take the initiative to do what, everybody says to do, pick yourself up by your bootstraps and work to make your life your own, they also have a way of making sure you can't fully do that. So if I make anything more than $2,000 a month, they are like, oh, well, you can live independently then, right? Because that's all anybody needs is $2,000 a month to get by. And that was kind of the I don't know what to call it. It was a mild frustration, I think, when everybody was saying, oh, we want the $2,000 check. We want the $2,000 check for the stimulus shit. And there was like a small percentage of people saying, that's still not enough. And we're fighting that much for just that. And meanwhile, I get like a few hundred a month off of disability, and I'm told that's all you need. They're fine.
Wow. And what sort of stuff are you doing with for work? I mean, I know you're doing comedy, but how often are you able to get out, especially over the past year?
Very little. Not so much at all, really. We lost access to my handicap accessible vehicle that I had for many years, way too long, and that whole process of getting a van, renovating it, it's not that it's impossible, it's just very time consuming, and it can be pricey just in terms of finding the van because it has to meet specific, rules, regulations, and check marks, and blah blah blah. And obviously, just life gets in the way with other siblings and life in general. So, transportation ends up taking a bit of a metaphorical backseat. So, not too much going out and mostly just doing comedy stuff. I don't rely on it for any monetary stuff. Anything that comes from it, it's fun, it's cool, but I mainly just do it for the love and passion because I grew up the gay artsy kid.
What did you grow up? What was that?
I grew up the gay artsy kid.
The gay artsy kid. What is that? I would feel like I'm not in that world. How did you describe it?
My brothers were the athletes of the family.
Oh, okay.
I was firstborn, so So like I was like the weird experimental child. that got, and it didn't help that my mom was essentially a child at the time too. She was a statistic and got pregnant at like 16, 17. So she didn't know what the fuck she was doing, but she did good. I'm not shitting on her. She did way better than I would have.
And with your mom, you've had some. I've seen some amazing clips of conversations that you've had with her that are pretty fucking dark. They're really honest. Yeah. They're really honest, and I think it opens a really interesting window into the life that you're living, and especially the relationship that you have with each other. And in particular, I remember one where it was like, I'm going to paraphrase, where you basically tell her, "Don't tell me that this hurts you more than it hurts me." And I was like, "Holy shit, man!" Fuck.
Yeah. And that's always been the relationship we've had. I think that in this household in particular, we utilized that funny comedic just tone to get by dumb shit, Yeah. We're fucked up over here.
Well, no, I definitely appreciate the dark comedy. Last week we buried my aunt, and she lived out like the last 6 years of her life with Alzheimer's disease, which is, another just fucking awful disease. And at the wake, it was a wake and funeral. So they're Roman Catholic, and there was something, obviously it was sad because we didn't want to see her go, but, and she was an older woman. So those in attendance, it was a very small crew. And we sort of looked around. It was like, wow, her life was so much of her kids, her nieces and nephews, and her sisters. Like she was such a small group. So there was something really lovely about that. Then also something sad where it's like, oh man, if you hang around long enough, like your world becomes so much smaller, unless you're like a celebrity.
Yeah.
And there was a priest who came, to do the homily, the sermon or whatever. And it was Father Johnny, right? So you're like, oh, Father Johnny's coming up. We're like, oh, Father Johnny, that sounds like a cool priest. It turns out Father Johnny was Father Gianni, who was an Indian man from India who had no idea who my aunt was. And came up. So we were expecting, I don't know. I was thinking of like a rockabilly priest, was going to start. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was. He did a nice thing. He openly said, I don't know Patricia. I didn't know her, but is there anything anyone would like to say, about her? And I got to talk about the way she was with my mother, her sister, and her other sister, where they would get together and they would literally make each other piss their pants with laughter. And it was just one of the things where the comedy was such an important part of their life. And I think, I think so much. And, I think you and I, we both kind of live online and live on Twitter, and so much of comedy has become a political, identity driven, preachy, activist sort of thing, as opposed to comedy is a way of dealing with life and embracing life, I appreciate the stuff that you're doing. Like even the real dark shit that makes me squirm. It's a nice reminder of what comedy can be. So,
I think we kind of lost, I don't know, sight of that, because anything anymore just feels like it's some form of a political statement. And that's so weird to me. Like, I understand to a degree, I'm not that naive, but there are just some things where not everything needs to be so serious all the time. Sometimes it can just be for the sake of being and laughing. And there's not too much you can do to change anything, in my opinion. As pessimistic as that might sound, I think the only real sense of change that you can actively see and participate in that I feel matters is being able to laugh at shit.
Yeah.
That's I can't change my position that I'm in, so I laugh about it.
Yeah. I was on a panel some months back about comedy and social justice, and it was one of those panels where I wasn't happy with my performance on it, and like looking back, I'm like, oh, I had a much better answer for that question. And one of the questions, I think the opener was, how could comedy be used to advance social justice? And the answer I wish I had given was, if you're trying to affect change in the world, with comedy, the only change that I hope to affect is if I'm at a live show and I'm in a room full of people, the change I want to affect is I want to take them from a place where they're not laughing to a place where they are laughing. That's the change that I want to see. And it's sort of like having these lofty goals any higher than that, I think might be a little bit of a stretch, Yeah,
it's you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah.
You're not gonna. I feel it sounds harsh, right? But I think more people need to be told you don't matter as much as you think you do. Your existence isn't as important as you might think it is, and there's nothing wrong with that, because I mean that in the grand scale. And I think everybody knows that, but having growing up this generation, mine, I feel in particular, was full of, you are important, your voice matters, and everything you think and say is so crucial to everything around you. But really, it is and isn't. Like, it matters to the people around you in your intimate facility, your family, your friends, your workplace, whatever. But outside that, it doesn't matter, right? So, if you're not somebody in a position to make this kind of change, like, take it with what you will, like a politician, whatever, I'm a comedian. It's not my job to incite change. I'm here to make you laugh.
Well, I think on the same token, there's that element of, in the grand scheme of things, your importance is very, very low on the totem pole.
Right.
But also, I look around and I see so many people, successful comedians who have spent decades doing something pretty amazing, which is making people laugh. And it seems like a lot of them get to a point where it's like, that's not enough. Like, there needs to be, like, they need to garner some more importance. And it's like, well, hold on, you just did something that's pretty amazing on its own. Why jump the shark and try to, become, affect, I don't know, just affect a political change. But then again, I look at them like, oh, fuck, if I was a super successful comedian for like 20 years and a multimillionaire, and I'm looking around and I'm like, you know what, maybe I could change shit. Maybe I will stop writing punchlines and start signing my name to petitions. Putting my name on the in front of it.
I'll start DMing people on Twitter and asking them if they're Jewish. Looking at you, Seth Rogen.
Oh yeah, what was that about? I saw you post that. Did he start doing that? Was that?
Yeah. I guess I can't talk too much shit because I don't know the guy, but just off of everything I saw, very, very much a hit to the heart, because admittedly, I'm a sucker for a good Seth Rogen movie. As dumb and cliche as they might be, I get it. I know what they are. They're not Citizen Kane, but I love Superbad.
Superbad's great.
Fucking great movies.
Superbad was amazing.
So good.
Yeah.
And so, the Toulon didn't read was that he saw, Count Dankula?
Yeah.
Yeah. He, for some reason, brought up the whole Nazi pug video and just DM'd him like, "Are you Jewish?" And he does this now with, like, whenever people are laughing at anti-Semitic jokes or whatever. The jokes that are just jokes. And just kind of berates them a little bit. And it's like, that's not funny. You're not supposed to make that joke. You're not that person, essentially, which is wild considering he made, what was it, that food movie where everything was a stereotype.
Oh yeah, what was that? It was the animated movie, right?
Sausage Party?
I think it was Sausage Party, yeah. Which I was not a fan of that. I was like, oh man, I can't believe I don't know. It wasn't for me. I'm more of a super bad guy, I think.
Superbad was great.
I ate at when I lived in LA, there's a burger franchise called Umami Burger. That's really good. Yeah. It's like high-end hamburgers. And I had the misfortune of sitting at a table that was close to a table where Seth Rogen was eating with friends. And I can't do a Seth Rogen impression, but it was basically like that the whole fucking time. And it's like, here I am trying to eat like a $20 burger. And I just have, it sounded like he was doing a Seth Rogen impression like that. It's like, oh, who's the asshole at the table who's loud doing the Seth Rogen impression? It's like, are you looking forward to, he just started a cannabis company, I think called, was it Houseplants? I think it's something like that. Are you interested in partaking in that? Trying his stuff out?
Purely based on my love for marijuana, I am admittedly like, if he really leaned into this shit and started making like incorporating his weed from movies, as gimmicky as it might be, I'd probably be into it a little bit, but he's doing what everyone else is doing and is operating strictly out of California and LA and shit. So like, I don't know why. That's kind of the other thing I'm glad to see as of lately is that people are deciding to say fuck LA in New York. Like, not that there's anything wrong with them. I understand, grassroots from, humble beginnings and their importance. But not everything needs to be operated out of those two locations.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole country. So everybody's moving to Austin now.
Right. It would be interesting if like the first question you had to answer before ordering one of his houseplants was, are you Jewish? It's like, that would be
so good.
That's the first question. He just turns it into.
Send me a picture of your circumcised dick.
I have a circumcised dick, and I'm not Jewish. So, although I think I haven't done a 23andMe, but I definitely I have to have some Jewish in my past. I feel it. I feel a kinship. So,
have you even gone as far as to see like the people that hate being circumcised?
That hate it?
Like it ruins them.
Well, I know there are a lot of people. There are a lot of groups that are against circumcision. But what was that? Yeah, well, I remember hearing. I don't know if it's true, but guys try to grow back their foreskin with like weights and stuff, like hanging it off their dicks.
That's what I was about to bring up. Was that I don't think I've ever seen anybody so dedicated to wanting to change their body enough. Because, like, with people that are trans, they have surgeries. They can just put on some clothes, and, like, that works for them. But a person who hates being circumcised says, I'm going to take, like, what I could only assume is months and hours to hang weights off the tip of my dick to grow my foreskin back, and that's wild. That's such dedication.
Yeah, and it's also like, do you have to stand, or is there like a special chair you could sit on, like with a hole in it that you sit on and you just hang your cock through it?
I have no idea. I feel like this is like any day now. Elon Musk will make some fucking SpaceX circumcised bot that will help grow your foreskin back or some shit.
I'm surprised there isn't like some like stem cell research that, you know, you have guys like, you know, putting stem cells into their necks, into their spines, you know, and it's supposed to be doing really good work. You're gonna have some dude sticking stem cells, you know, in his foreskin. And
that I could get behind that.
Yeah. You know, I could, I'm circumcised. My two younger brothers aren't. And my mom says they're not circumcised because the doctor did such a bad job with me. And I'm hoping that's a joke. I'm hoping she's fucking with me on that. But yeah, I can't, you know, as much as it's like something I just don't know. I don't know what life would be like with, you know, with a hood, you know, on my penis. So it's not like I long for it. It's not like I feel like there's a part of me that's missing that I need to get back, you know? I don't have like amputee, like what's that called? Like if you lose a limb, it's like you have phantom leg syndrome or something like that. There's no phantom foreskin.
Right. You never just naturally go to peel back your dick and you're like, Like
you just mime it.
Right. I like, know. Yeah.
Just mime that shit.
They give you like a fake like Play-Doh-y foreskin to put over it to just mimic you can't feel it. It's just for your mental sanity.
Right. Oh. Guy Fieri. What's going on with you and Guy Fieri, man? What the fuck?
Dude, I had no intention, right, on it escalating to where it's at now, but because of people's reaction, I'm now obligated to fucking probably end Guy Fieri's life because I didn't know. Like, I had no idea that people were so ride or die for Guy Fieri.
And what was the joke? What was the joke you said, man? What did you do wrong?
Officer, it was very simple. I was stoned in the living room. I had an edible, so I was feeling it, and I went out into the living room to just eat dinner, and my mom had on some diners, drive-ins, and dives, and I was thinking to myself, when's the last time you've seen Guy Fieri cook anything? Like, I can't name a single fucking time where I've actually seen him cook. But yet we love him. He's beloved for being a chef that doesn't cook. He gets famous off of other people's food. And that's, I don't know, in my brain I was like, he's just a face. You know who else is just a face? Joe Biden. As a joke in my head, I was like, hey, Joe Biden is to politics what Guy Fieri is to cooking. Just not even super deep, very dumb, not the joke of the year. I know that. But it was enough to, like, make me giggle. So I sent it out into Twitter. And within at least 45 minutes, so many fucking people were like, why? What did you fucking say about Guy Fieri? You piece of shit? You fucking low-life scumbag? Listen, I'll have you know. Eric Clapton's dead child falling out of a window? That was funny when you joked about that. When you posted Ricky Berwick in blackface, that was funny. We'll let that slide. That's cool. But you joke about Guy Fieri? You're dead to me.
Wow. Was there, I wonder, is it sort of like you can love Guy Fieri, and if you love Guy Fieri, you cannot be a Biden supporter? Is it one of those things where it's like one or the other? Like, because someone might take that like say I was a voter, I voted for Biden, and I'm also a big fan of Guy Fieri. I would say, hey, here's this young man on Twitter, this young comedian, bringing together two things that I love. And you know what? I'm going to do some work on that joke and think, hey, you know what? I think it's really good that Joe Biden is the Guy Fieri of politics. But it seems like there's like some really distinct party lines there. You know, you can't cross them. That's where
I thought it was even perfect, like on that layer of sorts, where you could read the initial tweet and take it as a negative or a positive, right? Because I've never definitively said in that tweet until people made me that was a good or a positive. I was going to leave it ominous, but so many people took it as a negative and just out for my throat after it that I was like, you know what? No, fuck them both. Fuck Guy Fieri. I will fight him in the street and next time I see him. I don't give a shit. What do you mean? It's so weird because it's really meme culture that has conditioned everybody into believing that Guy Fieri is a saint for some reason. And now I want to show him as the false prophet that he is.
Oh my God, dude, your fucking life's purpose now is so I think it's almost beyond evil, you know, because it's sort of like it almost doesn't make sense. It's like, well, no, did you see there was a guy who did a set on Conan some years back, and the whole set was him basically defending Guy Fieri and talking about what a great guy is because of all the work he does with homeless people and raising money for restaurants. The restaurants have been hit by COVID. Well, this is actually before COVID, so who even knows how much good he's probably doing even more good in the world right now. But you don't care, Cripp Daddy. You don't give a fuck.
Bullshit.
You don't care.
Bullshit. Nah. And that was so many people's response too. It was like, Guy Fieri has done amazing charity work, and it's like. So I thought we collectively agreed up until this point that just because a celebrity does charity doesn't make them a good person. It just doesn't. And I provided excellent examples of that because R. Kelly paid for 2 dead girls' funerals at one point in time.
2?
Yeah. They died in a house fire. He paid for both of their funerals.
Whoa.
Bill Cosby gave millions to black colleges. Harvey Weinstein, he gave us amazing movies. So, like, I just want to make sure I know where I am right now. Yeah.
You are comparing the charity work that Guy Fieri does to the charity work that monsters like R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, and Bill Cosby have done. I just want to just for the record, I just want to make sure. That's what I'm hearing.
Right. I understand why you would think that. All I am presenting to you are facts. These things happen.
These are facts.
So I feel that if you were a person that thinks only good people do charity work, you're mistaken. So maybe don't be so naive to think that just because Guy Fieri marries 100, or so lesbians because his sister that was a lesbian died makes him a good person.
Wait, he did that?
I mean, he just ruined. Yeah, he got his marriage license to marry a bunch of lesbians, and because his sister passed away and she was lesbian, and people are like, "Oh my God, he's a good person for ruining the sanctity of marriage."
I gotta say, man. I think you're not helping your case. You're actually making this. You're just. I know you're laying down facts, man. But you're laying down some really nice facts about this guy. With does he still have that hair? Is his hair still dyed blonde? Do we know?
Yeah, he still looks like how people in Animal Crossing dress to look cool. So yeah, that's still him.
Animal Crossing, what is that? Animal what?
Animal Crossing. It's just this really childish Nintendo game that I am obsessed with. Okay. And It's basically just The Sims, but for Nintendo. And in order to dress cool in the game, the way they think cool is, it's like flame t-shirt, glasses, Guy Fieri.
So in this world, the Guy Fieri outfit is the cool outfit that you wear.
Oh, it's the coolest shit, dude. If you're wearing that, you're the bee's knees.
Have you been torturing any of the characters dressed like that? Are you able to do that in that game?
Every single one of them. Yeah. I keep them caged like the animals they are. I don't let them have any freedom.
Jesus, my God.
Yeah.
What could Guy Fieri do to win you back, or I don't know if he ever had you, but what could he do to bring you over to his side, for you to be like, you know what, maybe he is maybe he's not so much the Joe Biden of cooking. You know, what can he do? I mean, he's out there. I think he might listen to my podcast. I don't know.
He definitely does. And if he's hearing this right now and he wants to try and win me over, first thing first, admit that your restaurants are overrated as shit. And they're overpriced. The quality, very hit or miss. And I know it's not him cooking. I get that. I'm not, but everyone seems to think paying $20 for trash can nachos is an acceptable thing to do, and I don't think that it is.
So that's the first one. Okay, so Mr. Fieri, you've heard one of Donovan's demands. I'm sure if you could admit that, we can bring peace to the world, and you two guys could maybe get along, I think.
If he could do it in blackface, that'd make it better.
God damn it! I don't think he's gonna do it in blackface, man. I don't.
He would win me over if he did that, because you know what it is. I don't like. There are very few people in this world in my lifetime that I think deserve the love and praise that they get for being just good human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And Guy Fieri hasn't done anything on the level that those people have done. Like Mr. Rogers, he's a saint. He is. He's an angel. He's okay by me. Steve Irwin, also another good man.
They never made any trash can nachos, though.
No.
Where are the trash can nachos, though, man?
They did. The trash can nachos that Mr. Rogers made was the beautiful messages of peace and understanding of yourself, and preaching individuality and understanding. Those were his trash can nachos.
So inside every child is a special trash can nacho.
Exactly.
Oh my God, dude. You brought up a Ricky Berwick, and I think the first time I came across Ricky, and I think it was both of your work actually. It was a while back, and it was at a time when one of the guys from Vox was complaining about comedy, or Maza, Carlos Maza, I think his name was, and talking about punching up versus punching down. And you two guys came out and basically called him a pussy. And I thought that was interesting too. Could we go back to that time and talk about that?
Yeah, please. I'd love that time. That was a good time.
It was a good time, man. People weren't getting kicked off.
It was. I think that that's the thing. So many people have this, and I guess it might sound a little hypocritical of me too, because my whole message is like, you can't control comedy. I mean, there isn't you can try and say that there's rules, and I guess there are like certain unspoken things, like if you have to explain a joke, probably not funny. But even then, if you laugh at it, who am I to tell you it's not a joke,
Mm-hmm.
But
apparently the other one is you can't make fun of Guy Fieri. That's the new one.
Yeah, that's the other unspoken. So but that era was so crucial because it was somebody who was deemed controversial telling a joke, and that's where the issue ends up being. It's like, what's his name? Steven Crowder. You know, he was the one that set that off by making jokes about Carlos, and Carlos in return says, "Hey, I don't like that. Let's deplatform him." And I get it to an extent. Like, you don't like the joke, totally fair and fine, but at the end of the day, it's a joke. You know, you can get over it, in my opinion. You know, I get that people have these supposed mass followings that were like dedicated diehards that will track you down, but I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that intense. People have such a short attention span for shit that unless you're intentionally poking the bear, they'll give up. They'll stop.
Well, yeah, it's a thing that I just don't think I'll ever get used to is the idea if I don't like something, or if I have a big problem with it, attempting to get it, taken down, or deplatformed, or whatever you call it there. And I think Carlos, at the time he was making these claims that I don't know, was he claiming that he was being threatened, like that these were actionable threats? And
they always do.
Yeah, that's weird.
They always do. It's so weird. I mean, there might be the offhand people of like, there's always going to be those people. I feel this is the internet, and if you've been on the internet for any collective amount of time, you know that there's just dumb jackasses that say outlandish shit for the sake of saying outlandish shit. Like, for example, I have a guy that's been emailing me it was daily for a really long time, just telling me that I should die, and that he couldn't wait for my disease to kill me, and that I was a burden to everyone in my family, and all this really fucking crazy shit. And it was the funniest thing. Like, I would laugh hysterically at every email, because what have I done to garner this much of your, attention and headspace? That's funny to me. And I never feel like threatened by it. It's just kind of like, you're not, if you actually hate me and want to kill me, then fucking do it. You won't, you're just saying shit. And that's what, I don't know, Carlos seemed to need to implement, because it's not that serious. With the
emails you get, do you get a lot of like hate mail like that? Yeah.
I wouldn't say in my emails in particular. Every now and again, a joke will garner some blowback, but I feel like it's very crucial for comedians now more than ever to not back down on that, and understand that if you had no ill intent and it really wasn't meant with harm, then don't apologize.
Yeah, it's wild the lengths that some people will go, and like you were talking about, you're obviously in this guy's mind. I guess what's the term? Living rent free in this guy's mind. Remember a few years ago, my company's email. Somebody sent an email to my company saying that he had gone to high school with me, and he was very disappointed with a video that I had made and put out there, a comedy video. And he said, "I've only watched one of your comedy videos, but from what I can tell from this one video, you believe this, and this. You're part of the problem. You should be more like this other creator."
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, wait a minute, I'm like, this is so weird, in that, for one, I don't remember going to high school with this guy, but the idea of, if I went to high school with you, there are so many other ways to track you down and to get in touch with you. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm not anonymous anywhere. And instead of hitting me up directly, this guy decided to go to like my bosses in effect, and it's like, and what if, at the time I worked for the type of bosses who were like, oh man, if one person is having such a big problem with you, I don't know if we could, if we could handle the heat, if more people would find out about this, so I don't even know that mentality,
I've been in that situation.
Oh yeah. Do you want to talk about that or it's okay if you don't,
I basically, I just lost a sponsor.
Oh really?
A really big one. It was my first really big one. This was about a year ago now, I think. It was a big deal for me because I think any independent, content creator of any sorts, like when you get your first real like sponsor deal, that's a sign of like a step in the right direction. You feel like, oh fuck, I'm doing something right. Like this is cool.
And it's also a sign too for other people, for other potential sponsors to be like, oh yeah, this is a serious person, who's moving up. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And so that was a big deal for me at the time. And push came to shove, and I was starting to do things, and they were like, all right, let's see you do a Twitter video, an ad. And I did. And I need you to understand that even before going into this, I was very skeptical because I know me and my humor and my style of comedy. So I'm very anal at the beginning, before contracts, before anything, was like, are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you for, you really want that? Okay. Just double checking, triple checking. And I finally make the video. And initially the people were like, this is hilarious. This is great. And then the very next day, hey man, we're going to have to end the contract with you.
Wow. The next
because
day.
we're getting some emails over here, and their head boss is not too happy.
Well, what the fuck did they think was going to happen? Like all your shit is there. Like just scroll.
Yep.
Just scroll down your your Twitter account. What the fuck?
Yeah. And I mean, at first it was pretty harsh because I didn't know. We had exchanged like things, and they provided me with stuff that I was gonna need, and so I was relying on that, and it was a whole big like, they wanted me to get back the stuff, and it was
like equipment,
a bit messy at first. Yeah.
Ugh.
But lo and behold, who would have thought that taking away stuff that you gave the guy in the wheelchair probably wouldn't look good?
Yeah. Has there been any pushback or any blowback? I guess it would be.
Nope. They let me end up keeping everything, and so we just went our separate ways. That's that.
Wow. Well, you talk about.
I got to read one of the emails.
You got to read it on online, like in public.
Yeah, they sent me like a little clip of one of the emails that they were getting about me, and it read like it was a middle-aged white woman complaining about how offensive somebody. It was almost exactly what you said. That email said about you, like, this is what this means, and this is where obviously he's coming from, and it wasn't any of that.
Well, it would be amazing if it's the same guy who emails you every day that he wants you to die. That would be pretty incredible.
Yeah,
where he's like, look, I first caught wind of your work when I was, looking. I don't even know what the company was. This Etsy shop that was sponsoring you. Do you has your disability given you cover? Because it seems like I follow you, and it seems like I would think some people would be a little, hesitant to come after you. But a lot of people don't seem to give a fuck. Like, it's like,
oh no, dude. I feel like that's a prime example of how far we actually have come with progression. That even the minority in a wheelchair is still able to get canceled. Like, that's awesome. We made it. This is Joe Biden's America.
Well, it's oddly like a really nice sign for the future, possibly, where it's sort of like this fucking guy in the wheelchair, him being an asshole supersedes everything else. His times in the hospital, his fucking bouts with the government, his bouts with sponsors, with people issuing death threats. No, fuck that.
Yep.
Yeah.
He made a joke about Guy Fieri. Fucking.
Fuck him.
Kill him.
Fuck him. Oh my God. It's oddly a very positive note to potentially end our conversation on. Well, one thing I want to ask you though, sort of moving forward. So one of the things you have a GoFundMe that you put together for a van, right? For so you're able to get around, and that's legit. That's a legit GoFundMe, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. I've put a bit of a halt on just pushing it as hard because I am very bad at self-promotion, even though I keep being told by everybody I know, like, seriously, push that shit. But it was a goal that I thought of in way back when the pandemic was first starting, because I was like tinfoil hat conspiracy about COVID when it was first starting to be a thing, because I remember seeing videos of like them overnight building entire hospitals in China, and I was like, that's weird, that's a little sketchy, right? So then they were like, hey, some COVID cases are showing up in Chicago. That's weird. Anyways, so, and that was when I was going to be starting my stand-up stuff. Like, I was going to do some opening stuff for other comedians down there, and I canceled, and since have been inside, and every other source of outlet comedically has been tapped into, and I've seen enough like Zoom comedy shows to know that that's not the future of comedy.
Yeah, I agree.
Not going to happen. But I still want to be able to go out there and do things. So I thought how cool it would be to have like a portable stage, essentially, that's a little studio stage to do pop-up comedy shows in places, Yeah. Take it to the road.
Yeah. Do you drive? Do you have your license?
Oh, heavens, no.
No?
It would be predominantly me, my mom, probably my girlfriend, just doing some shit on the road.
Nice. How long have you been with your girl?
Yeah. A little over two years now.
Yeah. Is it serious?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool because another thing that goes with the disability thing is if I get married, they cut all my benefits. So
get the fuck out of here. Are you serious?
It's so great. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's terrible. Don't get me wrong. Like, I get it. Yes, it is real. But, like, for somebody who doesn't want to get married, it's a fucking blessing. It's amazing. And all I have to do is be like, listen, I would love to take this to the next level, but I kind of want to be alive. So I can't marry you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Now I'm just imagining like some really twisted plot where, she marries you and you lose your benefits, but you have life insurance. So then you die because you don't have the benefits. The guy who used to email you saying how much he wanted you to die, he's happy. And then the wife is happy because she has some money there. So there's a twisted little thing going there. I was,
and then he ends up hooking up with her.
I mean, I didn't want to bring that up, but if there's a way we could bring it all around and it's actually Guy Fieri, ends up getting in there.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Then you're going to be fucking haunting Guy Fieri's kitchens
For the rest,
for the rest of. Well, I think I've been with my wife for 8 years. Well, I think it's going to be 8 years this year. And we got married.
Congratulations!
Thanks. Yeah, we got married. I think like 2 years ago, and we have a boy, a little baby boy, and we have a new one on the way too. So it's do you ever think about kids? You ever think about any of that stuff?
Right now, no. It's been one of those, like, I'm in no position to be having a child right now. I don't know anything about anything. I don't even know how to tie my shoes. You want me to bring life into this world? God. But then the other half of me that's like, well, I mean, having a continuation of me out into the world would be kind of cool. And I think what's interesting is the idea of, like, saving your fucking sperm and just putting it in the fridge and being like, yeah, I'll have a baby one day, and just, shove it in your vagina, and then that's it. Maybe that's what I'll do.
Dude, you're very romantic. I had no idea just how romantic this is.
It's the like, Latin in me. It's the Mexican.
There you go. Yeah, are your dad's Mexican? Is that?
Oh yeah. Very, very Mexican.
Very Mexican. Is he from?
Extremely.
Like, holy shit. Like someone like Americans are just building walls around him, like personal walls to just keep his ass.
Yeah, he makes Speedy Gonzalez look like Fred Rogers.
Aye. The one thing I would say, because you're 28. I didn't start feeling the urge to be a dad, I think, until more my early 30s, and a big part of that was because of my my wife. She being with her, and that was a big, an important thing for her. She wanted to be a mom, so that's important. And then one day it just sort of clicked, and I'm like, I want to be a dad. But with that, comes all the worry. I mean, we're both, doing comedy, and I'm like, man, I got to support a family doing comedy. And now if I fuck up and make fun of Guy Fieri, that might be the end of my comedy right there. Like, so I gotta start learning some new skills, I think, beyond the comedy stuff. What where can people check out your stuff?
Yeah, you can find me at under any video under the BBC category on Pornhub. All those guys are me. They put on blackface on me throughout my entire body to make me feel a little bit more comfortable, and it does. But also, if you felt inclined for more of my comedy stuff, you can find me on Twitter at Real Young Cripp. It's spelled like a SoundCloud rapper, so it's the YUNG and 2 P's because in Cripp, because I didn't want to be associated with gangs because that's whack.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to get canceled, man. The gangs aren't doing that.
No.
And do you do any like Twitch stuff or any stuff like that?
Mm-hmm. I have a podcast with me and my mom on my YouTube channel, and it's on Spotify and blah, all the other places except Apple because they just are so hard to deal with.
Oh,
so
really?
I gave up on that. Yeah, everybody says it's easy to figure out, but I've been trying for like a year, and I just can't do it. But it's on Spotify, YouTube, Cripp in the Cradle. It's me and my mom, just bullshit about whatever. And we're there under Cripp in the Cradle.
Cool. Well, Donavan, man, I really appreciate you talking to me. And one of the things that I'm looking forward to once things start opening up is, getting to move around the country some. And I hope to make it out to, your area over in Chicago, and maybe, who knows, maybe by the time I'm making out there, you got your van all ready to go. And I'll put a link to the GoFundMe. And I think you just got to get over, your hesitation to do self-promotion, because, there are people who want, there are people who want to support you. There are people who want to see you perform. And this is something where, it's going directly towards that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to support the show, please head over to thelouperez.locals.com and go ahead and support my sponsors. Black Organic Cold Brew, head over to www.blvckbrew.com and use the promo code LOU for free shipping. And if you head over to Paloma Verde, www.palomaverdestore.com, and use the promo code LOU, you'll get 25% off purchases over $75. And if you sign up for email, you'll get an extra 10% off. All right, later.